Re-cognition and Amnesia. Anubhuta Vishaya Sampramosha Smritihi. This is the definition of Smriti given in the Yoga Shastras. Smriti is the word employed to refer to an experience that does not evaporate from the mind. When an experience slips from the mind, it's called Vismriti. All of us have experienced such retention or loss of memories of different experiences at one or the other time. Smriti and Vismriti are not limited to temporal happenings in our daily lives. The rishis, who are our forefathers, did yogic sadhana and discovered the sukshma, the subtle, and the para, the infinite and the immortal, states within each of us. Our understanding of our own lives or the presence of God within us is superficial. It's nowhere close to the deep realization of the rishis. Hence we may say that we have run into Vismriti here. Although Deva or God has been coming along with the jiva, the individual soul, persistent unawareness of the Deva has brought about Vismriti. We need people who can remind us of what we have forgotten, especially when what we have forgotten is of unparalleled importance in our lives. Otherwise, we are likely to forfeit our fundamental birthright and squander away our life. Once again, the rishis, our forefathers, have given us a way of life that will consistently revive smriti from the domination of vismriti. Such a way of life is samskriti. It can be taught only by those rishis who have had the experience of the sukshma and the para and have retained its smriti. Consider the following example from the Garbhopanishad. It tells us about the outward appearance and the inward state of mind of the fetus when it is in the womb. The baby floats in the womb with both its hands folded together. This folding of its hands comes to it naturally and is called the Namaskara Mudra. It's a yogic mudra that manifests spontaneously. Such a position of the baby is also essential for its easy passage through the birth canal. According to the Garbhopanishad, the baby is experiencing and savoring Paramatman in the form of Jyoti or light within itself. Hence, even after birth, playing with babies includes actions that correspond to folding hands in front of God and elders. We just need to observe how our grandmothers and grandfathers have laid babies on their laps and have clapped the baby's hands together, saying refrains like Ram Ram Sita Ram, Ram Ram Sita Ram. Even grown-ups greet each other with hands folded together in salutation as a mark of recognizing the presence of God in all people. Practicing this repeatedly and consciously throughout our life will keep alive the smriti of the Paramatman seen in the womb in the form of light while the hands were folded of their own accord. It's also an age-old practice to keep a lighted lamp in the labor and delivery room. The reason for this practice goes back to the baby's experience in the womb. In its 8th and 9th month of gestation, the baby has uninterrupted darshana of the Paramatman in the form of light. It rejoices in its experience. Both the darshana and the consequent joy vanish immediately upon birth, when the effects of karmas, deeds performed in previous lives, tighten their grip on the newborn. Hence, to remind the newborn of the light it knew inside the womb, the rishis have directed us to keep a lighted lamp in the baby's line of sight. There are rules about the kind of ghee and in a certain proportion, the type of wick made of lotus fibers that facilitate the closest recreation of the jyoti or the flame in complete likeness to the jyoti in yogic darshana. Such a lamp reminds the newborn of its recent darshana in the womb and again revokes smruti. Even though a few weeks pass before a newborn recognizes its parents and smiles at them, it immediately recognizes the jyoti in the lamp and shows its glee. Neyam sajjana sange chittam, say the realized sages, and emphasize cultivating the company of sajjana, good people. Being with such sajjana influences our mind and inspires us to similarly undertake sadhana or spiritual endeavor that eventually wipes out our vismruti. When Arjuna forgets his true nature and gets caught in the confusing mire of dharma and adharma, Krishna teaches him the Bhagavad Gita to instill clarity. In the end, Arjuna says, Nashto moha smrutirlabdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta, meaning that his confusion is shattered, and having regained smruti of his previous clear state of mind, he is ready to take up his responsibility to fight. The dharmic texts that give us directives and restrictions do so to revoke within us the memory of God. For this reason, the Dharma Shastras are also called Smrutis. By overcoming Vismruti, we can constantly experience oneness with the light within. The Jyoti is in the form of Jnana or knowledge and Ananda or bliss. Such constant Smruti delivers us from the bondage occurring due to repeated cycles of birth and death. Samskriti is the means to achieve this.